So if you can do
Cool.
that, that's awesome.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I'll start it now. So I haven't really got. I was reading this like half at work, and then people were walking by my
Okay.
desk, and I'm like, I gotta lock in. But, um, so can you give me a rundown on these two matches? Like, I can read this too, obviously, while you talk, but, just like a TLDR, like what is the main thing going on in these matches that you want to talk about today, or like why you booked
Yeah.
today?
Okay, so specifically on I played the same guy twice. The first one's in a friendlies match, and the second one was an actual bracket.
Okay.
And in general, I've been having a lot of trouble with the Marth Fox matchup, and I think it's a lot because of like I'm not quite confident in my neutral game. When I play neutral, I like I tend to hope to God, almost hope to God that I actually get something, and then when I do, I take my advantage and I overextend and then get counter hit, lose a stock.
Okay.
And that happens a lot in that second game that I played where I got like four stock on the in the entire game.
Mhm.
But the first game I played was a lot better. I felt like because my neutral was actually working a little bit more. So I feel like my neutral against Fox specifically, and like even some other faster players like Falco or Falcon, uh, just is almost feels non-existent in a way.
Okay.
Where like I'm not quite sure always what I'm supposed to do in certain situations, or getting overwhelmed by speed, um, or like
Okay.
how to properly almost like box out to keep them away from me,
Yeah.
so that I can get back into playing neutral if I do get counter hit or give up something, you know?
Okay. Do you mind me asking, like, have you ever played like ranked melee, like on Slippy? Like, do you have a rank on
Uh,
Slippy?
I do not. But I do play unranked matches
Okay.
consistently.
Okay.
Like I play probably about maybe like 10 games a session.
All right. I just want to like, because I know you say you want to talk about neutral. Like, obviously, I mean, you know, ultimate. I started with Smash Four before I went into melee. I didn't really play ultimate too much, but like, I mean, I'm sure it's no different in those games. Like, I'm sure as you know, like neutral, you could go down a whole can of worms, right? So I just don't want to be like over explaining stuff if I don't have
Right.
to be. Um, so when you say you're getting like overwhelmed, like, can you think of like some moves in particular that like you find? Because like I'm watching you guys both right now, and I'm like, neither of you are like particularly like super fast. So I don't think it's like a tech skill issue so much,
Right.
where it's like
Okay. Maybe
spacing.
it
It
just
looks
like
like.
yeah, spacing. It feels like if I let him in too close, sometimes I feel like I just like don't really know how to reset, I guess.
Okay.
Like if I get knocked into the air, coming back on the stage,
Like,
like
is
I'm
stuff
just
like this kind of what you mean? Like on the right side, like when you get to the right here,
yeah,
stuff like here.
yeah, like I have no idea how to get out of that and
Okay,
stop, and maybe like either counter hit or just get back to
just how
reset
to
to
avoid
neutral.
it. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, this game was a lot better for me. I feel like I was actually playing a little bit better in that neutral than the other one.
Hmm.
But like I know a lot of the big game plan is for Fox is to try to just like play around his hitboxes and keep the spacing out that way. But
Hmm.
like I feel like I tend to just kind of let him in a lot, and I'm not quite sure how to stop doing that.
Okay. Well, maybe let's for today. I mean, because it's obviously like lesson one, right? Like I can't give you
Right.
like no one can give you like every answer you need, kind of thing,
Of
on
course, yeah,
day
right.
one. But I think what would be helpful, especially just based on kind of the problems you're running into, um, would be if we were to talk about like what do Marth and Fox actually want as characters at like
Okay.
at higher levels, right? And like it applies to lower levels, but like what I push pretty hard for like a lot of newer people, um, I don't know what this is, whatever. Uh, what I push for people, and I have examples of it, is like, uh, what do you? It's like not a complete one. Let's talk about like Marth versus Sheik, right? Like this doesn't really change if you're like an O2er playing Marth against Sheik for the first time ever. If you're like Zane against Jmook, right? We're like literally describing the character traits. Like what is Marth really? What is weak? What is Sheik really bad at? And why is that good for you? And then what is Sheik really good at? And why is that bad for you? And you kind of just ask yourself when you're watching your VODs, like, what can I do to make these happen, or what's going wrong, right? Or like, what am I
Okay.
doing to let her stay in these good spots, or how do I avoid it, right? Not that you have to like use this as like a template. I'm just kind of giving you an example. Um, So let's talk about Marth and Fox. We'll start with Marth because like obviously it'd be helpful, right? To know what does Marth like. So Marth across the whole cast, right? He is a very strong grounded character. The main reason Marth is really good on the ground is because of his dash.
Right.
When Marth dashes, he leans super far forward, right? So if you're like running at someone, it doesn't really look any different than this dash forward, right? Like Fox is also leaning pretty far forward, right? But because Marth leans so unbelievably far forward from when he's like standing still, hopefully you move back here. No, okay. Because he leans like so unbelievably far forward, when he dashes backwards in a given spot, maybe you do it here. No, you're wave dashing back a lot. Okay. But either way, when you run away from someone, right, it's next to impossible to get a hit on him, right? Because you're so low to the ground, and your Marth is like pretty fast on the ground. He's not the fastest, but he's really fast, right? And if you actually look at the frame data for Marth, this is like a secret reason why his dash is like extra broken. I don't know if it's going to show here. Maybe one on this website. Nah, it doesn't on this website. But Marth's legs are actually like, you can't grab Marth's legs when he's dashing. I don't know if it actually like shows it, but you can kind of see it on like down B a little bit. Like, see how it kind of flashes purple a little bit?
Yeah.
The purple indicates like ungrabbable. Not that like actually matters here in this case, but he's not like invincible here. That's not what this purple is, right? He'd be blue for melee for invincibility, as long as this is like accurate. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, here like here's blue invincibility on your roll, right?
Yeah.
But what this means is like anytime you dash away from someone with Marth, you're really hard to hit with an attack. You're like, if they chase you, if you dash at them, chances are you probably can still run underneath them if they do like a short hop aerial, because you're so low to the ground. Unlike that Fox dash we saw earlier, like Marth is much lower here than Fox is, right? So it's very possible to do that. And you can't get grabbed from your legs. And again, you move like, it's kind of hard to see from the go here, but like, or not go, like you were here a second ago and you started dashing for like a frame or two and you're already like, your head is all the way this way, right? Even though like you're still clearly in this one spot. It's just the dash animation pushes you far. So all this to say, Marth's movement on the ground is really good, and that's without like his really long wave dash or his range that he has on moves like grab, right? Also talking about grab, or let's talk about his dash. His dash dance is like one of the best in the game, right? So because he goes really far with his dash dance and he's able to move in between it all, like the max length and the really tiny length, and you know all the different speeds and length you can do in between that, he's just really, really hard to hit while he's on the ground, right? If you get hit with Marth on the ground, chances are that means you messed up at some point, right? Like, and genuinely like messed up, you know?
Okay.
So it's a pretty good rule to follow. There's very rarely, I don't want to say very rarely, but like there's not many situations in the game where you could force Marth to jump, right? Like even if a situation is like hard for Marth to beat, he still can probably beat it just by being on the ground. He just might have to be like technical about it, right? Or maybe there's like just something easier to go in the air, right? Like maybe like dealing with Fox's Nair, probably easier to just like swat it away than it is to like dash dance perfectly around it and grab it, right? But like he totally could. Like it's not to say he can't. So with that in mind, like if you look at my Uncle Punch here real quick, because Marth is able to control like such a big amount of the stage with his dash dance, and he's like very mobile while being difficult to hit. I'm just gonna go in training mode because it really doesn't matter like who I am here, but what this basically means is like when you have a distance in front of you and Marth, like if you're right on top of your opponent, obviously like if you guys both attack, like chances are Foxes will probably come up first because he has better frame data, right? That's no different than like Ultimate, really.
Right.
But what's different than Ultimate is because Melee has like such freedom of movement, like when you have distance between your opponent and he can't reach you, but Marth can reach him, this is like the sweet spot of where you kind of want to be against him all the time. You could even argue like here is more better, or even here. But like all this kind of space here where your dash dance kind of looks like it's going to hit, or looks like you could go in at any point. This makes it really, really hard for someone to deal with Marth, because like there's nothing stopping Marth from just running all the way up forward and grabbing like across the entire stage, right? But also like if I just stay here, it's really hard for him to hit me, because at any point like I put up my shield and then you get shield grabbed and then you get grabbed by Marth on Final Destination. Or maybe I just like I actually back off a little bit. Now you're running at Marth and it's like, oh, now you got pivot grabbed by Marth on Final Destination. Do you know what I mean? Like the kind of the grab meme I'm talking about mostly. But the idea is like he controls the space on top of him really well. He controls the space in front of him really well. And he controls the space behind him really well. So like all just by like doing the same thing, right? And this is on top of the fact that like you can dash after doing an attack, right? Like a really big disjointed attack and just get out of there. Like Fox might attack with something like this. Like if you're getting pressured by Fox, usually it'll look something like he nairs in your face and then maybe jabs, or like he nairs and does a shine, or nairs and does like a turnaround, like up tilt or like that. Maybe you're like, yeah. Right? Like in other words, attack 1, attack 2, and that's Fox's mix up. Marth's main mix up in neutral is like attack 1 and then anything after, right? So like Marth could attack in your face and then just rip an F smash. Like that is possible, but it's not as frame safe, right? But because he has so much range, like now how are you going to chase him after you whiff this forward air if you're not like the perfect spacing, because he's able to dash back, right? So it's like that his dash is like the biggest reason why I would say he's a good character, outside of the obvious like he has disjointed attacks, right? That's no different than like Lucina or Cloud, right? But like melee Marth, it's the movement, right? The ground movement for sure. And I didn't even mention like crouch cancel, like your ability to like wave dash back and do this, or like reset your timings with wave dash or pivots, or like a little extra dash dance and then go in. Like that's without getting into the nuance, that's just surface level. Doesn't matter if you're like an O2 Marth or like Zane, like that's Marth's biggest strength against a lot of characters, right? And for sure against Fox. He controls the ground.
Quick question
for
you, because I have, so when you're dash dancing like around Fox like that, I guess like my biggest question is, how do you consistently make it a threat without getting hit? Because I feel like a lot of the times that I started to do that, or I dash dance too close, maybe I'm just not reacting fast enough, but I still tend to like give up grab, for example, and then I'll get up throw up air, and there goes my stock at the end,
right?
Or something like that. So I'm like constantly trying to keep a threat in, but I'm not like consistently sure about like how to like develop that threat consistently, I guess.
Well, so I would reword it a little bit, because if you were able to constantly keep a threat without being punished, you would be unbeatable, basically, right? Like,
true.
You'd low-key be like a Jigglypuff player, but with Marth, which is just like insane. Jigglypuff has weaknesses that Marth doesn't, obviously, but the idea, I think, right, is like to understand the concept of like overshooting and undershooting. And it's a lot different than it feels in Ultimate, because Ultimate really, really struggles with micro movement on the ground. Like there's not much micro movement like there is you get with like dash dancing and pivoting and all this extra stuff that you don't really see too much in that game. So I actually have an image. I'll grab it real quick. I just need to jump in my DMs with someone. So low-key leaking, sorry, but you'll see this in the recording, but this is kind of the idea that you need to understand. It's like at a given point, right, Marth is able to threaten many different options without even having to leave the ground, right? Like if he dash dances or he's pivoting or just standing still or crouch canceling, it doesn't matter. Like he's controlling all this space with like his dash back, his grab forward, his dash attack and F smash, his nair and down tilt. Like in other words, like immediate space in front of him, the space he actually takes up, the space behind him, and the super far space away, right? So it's like understanding that it is possible at any point to do any of these moves makes it a little And like at any point, like you could do it like frame one, right, and just start doing them. Uh, that is scary for the Fox player, right? Compared to Ultimate, where let's say like I want to go for like an immediate grab, but I'm gonna grab like here versus like at the end of this grab, right? Like in Ultimate, when you dash, you're committed to that dash. Like you can't put your shield up until the dash animation is over and you're able to run. Do you know what I mean? This is why dash dancing is like really weak. Like you kind of have to do like almost like a pivot dash dance. Is what it kind of looks like. I know that's not actually what it is, but like looks like that, low key. Um, but the point being, like melee at any point, like because you're especially with wave dash back and like just the fluidity of dash dance, like where you're able to turn it on and off on a dime, like you're always threatening all of this, you know? Um, so like, I mean, I give examples of like what this covers or like what the Fox can do to deal with it, right? But on the flip side, like this is, you would just kind of use the opposite of like, well, if they're doing this, I'm gonna do that, right? Um, this is kind of talking about how they beat it or outspace it with Fox, but that's just because I was coaching a Fox player. But the idea is like at any given point, right? Like here, like what would you say you can hit Fox with at this point, right? Like probably maybe a dash attack, maybe,
Yeah.
or like a wave dash forward F smash, but that's it, right? So it's like you're not really threatening much other than that. But if you actually get a little closer, get in the right spacing, like obviously Fox closed the distance in like a split second because it's a fast game. But like from his perspective, what is he threatening here other than like a run and drill like that? Do you know what I mean? Right. So to answer your question, you can't always cover it and always be threatening because you have to consider what are they thinking also. Like you're playing against a human being. But that's kind of like how you could figure out like, well, could I have threatened something here or not? Like by understanding the ranges the moves take up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just because it's neutral, right? Like, especially, and this is really good for like first stock stuff, like just like vanilla game plan kind of thing, because without having to make any adaptations, because it's like, let's say you play Fox player A, you don't know if they're really aggressive or really campy. You're just playing a Fox player, right? So it's like, how do you know like what spacing to maintain against them if you don't know what they're gonna do, right? And like Fox player B, maybe this guy's really campy, not really aggressive. Like, well, how are you gonna like break into his space without overcommitting now, right? Like the answers would be completely different depending on who you're playing. And against the really better players, they're doing both of them anyway, you know? They're switching up their really aggressive or campy. But that's kind of, does that make sense what I'm saying? Like the idea, if I'm speaking like too like high level, like let me know. I can dumb it down a little
No,
bit.
I definitely like understand what you're getting at.
Okay.
Like I think that's just like a problem with some of my spacing as well though, is that even in some of those parts it's like I'm either too close or too far away, and trying to find that sweet spot in the game can be really difficult
Yeah.
to get to.
So what I was going to like get into next was like, what does Fox want against Marth, right?
Yeah.
And the answer is Fox wants to just hit Marth as hard as he can and keep him in bad spots, which like he's pretty good at doing. Marth is probably better at it. Like I think Marth maybe he doesn't beat Fox because Fox is so fast and like the ability to maintain perfect neutral, like I said, is like impossible. So it's like Fox does like have a really, really solid punish. But like if I had to give the edge to one character, I probably would give it to Marth if for the fact if you have a perfect punish game, which like a lot of people don't. So then maybe you could give it to Fox, right? If I think Fox's punish game can be, there's less nuance to it sometimes. Sometimes Marth punish game could just look like 2 F smashes, which I mean that makes like good for a good Twitter meme. But like being realistic, like anyway, that's I'm getting ahead of myself. The point I'm trying to say for Marth, I think the game plan for neutral is like a lot more established because Marth wins on the ground, right? And just because Marth wins on the ground doesn't mean that Fox is able to go in the air because you have the disjointed hitboxes, right? So like if ever you go in the air, well, you're probably just going to get up air forwarded, right? So it's not really a reliable strategy for Fox. So Fox's goal is to find a way in against Marth. And a lot of the times that can look a lot easier than it can against other Marth players, depending on one, how good the Fox is at making openings, but two, how good the Marth player is at like establishing certain spaces in neutral, right? Like some Marth players only ever play up close. Some Marth players are only ever playing from really far away. Or like another example of wording that would be like some Marth players can only get grabs. Some Marth players can only hit F smashes, right? And it's like the way you have to play around those two types of Marth players like is going to look very different, right? Because obviously there's different threat ranges from the hitboxes, right? So, right. And like, depending on how you move, you can make it tricky or whatever, yada, yada. But the point I'm trying to get at is like Fox doesn't really have a way to keep Marth out. Marth has a way to keep Fox out, and Marth controls the stage really well. That being said, things that Fox really does like, Marth generally is pretty weak in the corner because he doesn't really have like 15 frame Galint ledge dash into like an up smash or something. Like the way Marth gets out of the corner is his best reliable option is like an invincible forward air, which like that can be whiff punish, that can be crouch canceled, that can be stuffed out if you're not doing it invincibly perfectly. Like, and even once he lands on stage, like now he has to chase Fox down, which like Fox is a faster character, right? Which you kind of run into a lot. Like what I was asking we were talking about the right side earlier, where like you got kind of stuffed a little bit. Let's see if I can pull it up. I don't know where it was exactly. I'll play it while I talk, basically. But yeah. Or even like here is fine, actually. We'll just talk about this. Like at a given distance, let's say there's an equal amount of distance between two characters, right? Like, or just like you guys are both dashing. Doesn't necessarily mean quote unquote there's an equal amount of distance. Because like, sure, maybe like you guys could reach each other with like one short hop, but like Fox is obviously much faster getting there, right? So you have to kind of take that into consideration of like, well, can I really hang out here if I think he's going to attack, right? And that's obviously going to get into like decision making versus like what is good neutral and what is like bad, quote unquote. So the way you can kind of deal with some of these things like this, like down air, again, is just by like staying really grounded, right? Because you have access to every option at a given point. You can like put up your shield on frame 1 if you're able to react to it in time, right? Or dash away or do whatever. But like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that like now there's a big distance between the two of you. See how like Fox isn't really able to get in when you like move away?
Yeah.
But if in this exact same spot, if you were to try and dash in, like Fox is there first. Do you know what I mean? By the time you're going to be able to get a move out. So it's like he kind of has this like weird like it almost always feels like Fox is at a frame advantage no matter what. But you abuse your range with Marth and your like spacing and dash dance control to kind of make up for that, right? Like Marth, in other words, like to really super dumb it down, Fox is faster, has faster moves. Marth has more range and better control of the ground, right? Like that's the TLDR. Which I know sounds obvious, but like a lot of the time you can answer why did I get hit or like what's going wrong here by kind of just reminding yourself of that, right? Like I could break down any situation here and kind of dumb it down to that level, which like, some people really need that nuance to be able to get like the optimal grab and chain grab out of this or whatever. Like how do I always get a grab or how do I always beat crouch cancel? And it's like sometimes like when you're playing, like you just need a simple answer to actually like get by,
Yeah.
This isn't like a solvable game, which I think a lot of people struggle with that idea quite hard. But that's kind of like what Marth and Fox want as characters. So with that in mind, let's kind of look at what it is we're just talking about and see how that kind of applies to this game, right? Like why things are maybe going wrong for you, right? Yeah. So I'm noticing a lot of the time after you do like a poke or like, let's say there's a distance between the two of you, right? There's a clear distance here. You do like your one attack or your two attacks that are safe, quote unquote, right? Like it's pretty hard to get punished for that down tilt or an air, but like you're right in the air and like you kind of commit to something after, right? Or like, here's a distance again, right? A little bit out of the way, so you got punished, like you full hop there by accident, but let's watch for another one. Here's the distance. You swing right away, and like you're back to swinging again, right? Like you do one attack that like maybe you think could hit him, right? But the second you're out of that like big distance between the two of you, you're right back in trying to like scrap with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Um, so like it's not to say you can't win the scrap here, right? Because Marth does control the space. So like if you're right about it and he does the wrong thing, like Marth controls the space. So like in other words, he controls the pace also, right? Um, so like maybe you could have hit him with this nair if he did like an up tilt or something instead, but or like an up smash. But you take the risk of scrapping with the fastest character in the game. So it's like
Right.
that's kind of problem for stock 1. Let's check out stock 2. So again, get a grab, okay, drop the combo, whatever. Like not gonna push you super hard for that. We're just talking about neutral. So okay, scrap out of the corner. You got an up air, but whatever, you get out. Okay, there's a distance. You're right back in there with a nair, right? But he SDs, so okay, stock still your stock 2, but you know what I mean. So now you need to get out of his pressure. You get a grab, drop the combo. There's a distance. You go right in with a dash attack. Here's some distance. Now you back off, but you're like, you see what I mean? Like you go in with the forward air, and then you keep your ground, and you keep mashing after.
Yeah.
So like, it's not to say like your move choice is bad or you should drift this way instead or yada yada. It's like, just because there's a rhythm there, subconsciously the fox is going to catch on to it. Maybe they're thinking about it in a different way. Maybe they're looking at it like, oh, this guy's forward airing a lot here, But
Yeah.
like the idea is like it is easy to make a habit out of that, right? For the fox player's perspective, like he can kind of get a vibe check for you, and just like that's really all you need sometimes to win. So let's check out this stock. There's a distance. You do an approaching forward air, right? Drop the edge guard. Okay, you got caught defensively. Now you're just kind of getting vortexed, which happens. Edge guard. Okay. Let's skip the invincibility. I'm not like too concerned about that. He's invincible. Okay, there's some distance. You jump forward with another forward air, right? And do you see a pattern here, like the theme?
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
jumping forward with the forward air a lot.
Yeah.
And like I didn't
think
even
it's,
watch this far ahead. Like I just kind of knew it's gonna keep going like this, but yeah.
like now that you pointed out, it like definitely shows a little clearer.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of it's because in when I play Ultimate or even like Project Plus, even I tend to like want to create interactions too much. I feel like I'm always fishing for an interaction instead of like just playing the stage.
Mhm.
If that makes sense, I
No,
guess.
it does, yeah.
But like so like when I see space, instead of like, oh, just like play it passively, like maybe dash dance or find like a new like react to what he's doing instead, I'm like, okay, I could just fair here and try
Mhm.
to like create something for myself so I can try to get like a good combo, because I feel like my punish game isn't always the worst. I can like get combos going every once in a while or do stuff like that, but
Sure.
um
And
so I
like
like instinctively try to create interactions to try to get that to happen.
yeah. And like for what it's worth, like I'm with you. Like if you're right about these forward airs that they're gonna end up being there, like you could make something happen, right?
Yeah.
But the downside is like Melee's defensive game is really, really strong, right? So like when Fox is running at you, he could also like crouch cancel at the last second, or he could shield or whatever. And now all of a sudden you're doing like a rising aerial against like one of the fastest characters in the game, right? So like you leave yourself a little too exposed there.
Yeah.
And like that's also, if we're just talking about like how the characters work, it's not really like anything that Marth ever really wants to do, right? Like be in the air so much, like exposed, but two, do like approaching aerials, right? Like we were saying, like his biggest strength is his ground game, right? So when I look
Yeah.
at, like how does Marth get an opening here? Like you're totally right. Like if I think the Fox is gonna dash in here, I have it nair written here, but like I totally could like do a rising forward air, right? It would probably just look like this, but like whatever, right? Um, it is very possible to hit it. And I'm also with you that like it is boring to like play super defensively and passively. Like I don't think Marth has to play that way. It's just you have to play to his strengths, right? Which is like he's a pretty grounded character. Or like he controls the interactions by threatening ground game, right? So it's like maybe after you grab this guy a million times, he starts jumping a lot, and then if you catch him full hopping in the air, you could forward air him, right? Or like,
Yeah.
but you gotta establish that a little bit first. Where in like this VOD, you're kind of just doing the same thing over and over, even if the moves are different. Like you were doing nairs, you did an F smash at one point, you did a dash attack, a lot of forward airs. But like what I'm getting at is like the idea or like the approach is almost the same every time, even if like there's a little bit of variance in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Um, so let's talk about like how you can fix this because I think it's an easy fix. So,
Okay.
like I said, this graph pretty much covers it, right? So like, if you think Fox is gonna get up in your face and do something, like grab is like almost your best move in like every matchup, especially against Fox. So like, why not instead of just replace it, like just run up grab, right? Like, think of it this way: anything that you were to do run up here, it's completely unreactable, right? Like, by the time you get a dash attack out, let's look at like numbers just to not like super complicate this, but like melee frame data, right? Average human reaction time is 15 frames, people say, right? Like, I don't know how many milliseconds that is, but I know it's 15 frames roughly.
Yeah.
Dash attack is out by frame 12, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? So, like, let's say this is where the dash attack reaches. It may not be, like, completely accurate. Like, it's obviously a paint drawing, but let's just, for example's sake, he can't react to anything you're going to do if you just run up and do it in this red spacing here, right?
Yeah.
So in other words, like a run up forward air that's wrong is no riskier than is no less risky than like a run up grab that's wrong or run up dash attack, right? Like either way, if you're just ripping something, approaching, you're going to be wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
The only way they can react to you in a spot like that is if they really give up the distance here, right? And they stay outside of all this range. Because like if they're outside of the range of dash attack, well then they can react to it and whiff punish it, right? Or like maybe if they like jump over it, right? But what is the biggest problem is staying outside of the range of stuff like this with Marth? Well, if you don't commit to it, you control the ground and you take space away from him, right? So it's like, because this range in front of you is so massive and you're able to back off at any given point and move this kind of all with you, if that makes sense, like you can play extremely interactively. If anything, like if they back off, they're the one camping you, right? But that just means you get to corner them and corner them and corner them. Like you take away their stage by interacting. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And if they're not interacting, like you still like you take their stage away, so they like you almost like force them to interact at a given point, right? And then it's just up to you to decide, like, okay, well now do I need to defend because they're gonna hit me first because they have better frame data, or do I have like do I have them like so scared in a bad spot, right? Like you can almost think of it like the chain chomp in Mario, like it's kind of like that though. You know what I mean? Like once you back Fox into the corner, either he's just kind of like stay there and kind of do nothing and like, well, now you can jump over the chain chomp, whatever, or he's gonna like jump out and bite at you, right? And it's like, okay, well now I'm just gonna like dash back grab you or nair you or pivot grab or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
world's your oyster. Like that's kind of the beauty of melee is you have a billion options to kind of deal with the same situation for the most part. And you can apply this line of thinking to like most situations, right? Like there's a video I watched from Kadoran. I don't know how much you know about Kadoran because I know you see.
Yeah, I watch him here and there.
Okay.
Some of the stuff too.
Kadoran made a really good video I watched recently about how to deal with Jigglypuff camping on the platform. And because I'm just like, dude, this is like such a brutal position, right? And he does list off like a million different ways you can deal with it. Like most Marths will try and deal with it like this, but there's like risk reward involved with this that not really in Marth's favor because Puff has better air drift. She can like move in and out easier.
Yeah.
But it's like just cut her off with movement, right? So like what he does instead is he actually just gets on the platform and then he shield drops, right? Which it's like, this is inherently aggressive, but it's like because you kind of back Puff into the same corner, like kind of similarly, like if you just get in their face, like Marth does with Fox dash dancing, it's like either Puff has to like double jump away, which is like really bad because then she just gets up aired like on reaction. She goes off stage and wastes all of her jumps. Like, well, now she can get gimped and die. Or the chain chomp thing, she just has to like deal with it anyway and go in and like, oh, you can up air it now, right? So that is
Yeah.
Marth's like strength. He is a stage control master. Like that is what Marth is really, really good at always. And he has like brutal punishes too on most of the casts. Like, there literally isn't a single matchup where like you can't get like 50+% off an interaction like pretty consistently, or just give them and kill them. Like Marth is
Yeah.
really, really good at that. So watching this game where you play well, like we can watch the other game and see maybe why you're playing worse than that.
Oh yeah. This is a very like I feel like okay, when I play bracket, I play like you were talking about the Zane thing with the heart, body, soul,
Mm-hmm.
or soul, mind, body. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely much more of a heart player. So like when I play and with stakes,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm like forgetting a lot of what I'm doing. What like when I'm playing friendlies, I'm just like thinking more about what I'm doing and trying to do so. Where this is more just like muscle memory and doing like
Mm-hmm.
whatever I can to try to win the game almost. And instinctively, I even like throw out a lot of like trying to counter, almost to like try to read him, just because I feel like I'm getting too overwhelmed. Um, to try to create more space for myself, and I get punished like every single time here for doing so. And I remember even in this set, I'm like, okay, we need to stop like just trying to counter everything because I'm getting overwhelmed. I need to like actually sit down and play neutral for a second and calm down.
Right.
And then I just like
Well,
I can't get in or do anything.
well, I think what you're describing almost sounds more like a mind player to me. Like the way Zayd breaks it down in his video, right? Did you watch the video?
Yeah, I did watch the video. One of my tournament organizer was like sent it to us this
Okay,
morning, and I
cool.
sat down and watched it.
So, do you remember the part of the video where he talks about Junebug and like Junebug has an answer for a given situation? Like he knows kind of what's going to happen, and because he's like a really smart player, he's able to make decisions that like are really informed ahead of time.
Yeah,
That almost sounds like you're kind of talking about like with your counters, right? And if it goes wrong, like maybe things are going really bad, and like maybe you're just not as good as of a mind player as Junebug, quote unquote, right? But like, look at let me find Zane's YouTube channel. Like he gives those examples with Hungry Box. Like I don't know if he says it outright in the video, but there's a section where he's like, I don't want to say making fun of HBox, but like, um, it's pretty infamous in a lot of Marth guides. I feel like where he talks about how he always is doing certain things because it's HBox is just gonna rip it every time, right? So like in
yeah,
other words, like he knows ahead of time that this is gonna happen, and like this is the counterplay he has set up for it, right? And if it doesn't go his way, like he can get blown up for it, right? Very different, I would say, than someone like Nunn, who's like, how does Zane describe it? I would describe it. I think the way I learned it was soul, mind, body. I'm not sure what heart, body, mind, right? Like Nunn is a very
yeah,
much a heart player, right? Where it's just like he's just feeling it out. He just kind of has a vibe that something's gonna happen, right? Um, and like Jmook, the way he's thinking when he's like playing his best is like, very like technical, just like perfect execution. And it's like it's raw, it's powerful, whatever, right? Um, so I think like what you're describing is almost more mind stuff, where it's like if things aren't going well for you, like everything kind of crumbles.
yeah,
Um, but like it's decisions, right? Like oh, I missed this counter, right? Where it's like it's not like you're talking about your tech skill messing up, like your counter is not coming out, right? Like you're getting side Bs instead. It's like you're just missing them, right? Um, all this to say, I think while it's like an interesting idea to see like what kind of play style you lean more towards, right? Like
Mm.
uh it's not the most important thing I think early on, right? Like what we're talking about right now, like with the spacings and the range concepts and all these things, like I would argue it's definitely mind it leans more mind in concept, but like you kind of have to know it to be able to use the other ones anyway. Do you know what I mean?
But
So
yeah,
we're very new. So that's like it's an interesting video, and I think definitely something like coming worth coming back to for sure. But maybe just not the difference maker here, right? Like I think we could probably look at the VOD and like this VOD here and be like, okay, what's different between that match and the match that's happening, right? But
Yeah.
I at the same time, I get playing in tournament feels different, right? And like maybe why that's the case. But I think just right now, you don't have enough of a game plan for that really to be the difference maker, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Like when I'm watching this, I'm just seeing you're jumping in the air a ton, and that's all it is really. Like that past two stocks, you've just been floating around in the air. Maybe it's lack of tech skill. Maybe it's you were just a little lost. I don't know, but it's just pretty cut and dry. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like the reason I bring this here too is just like I feel like you said, it's just like I'm in the air a whole lot, which is not like how I normally play at all.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if I, even like other VODs that I have, it's like I'm constantly like dash dancing and like getting in for grabs, like doing chain grabs on Fox, like the up throw at 0%, noticing what percent he's at, and like trying to get him off stage and edge guard it and stuff like that. Here, I've like, it's just like I'm completely lost, and I feel like it was just like the game felt so fast in the moment, but watching it back, it doesn't feel like that as much as it does while
Right.
you're playing it. But
But it's like
um,
even here, right? Like here's the same habit. The that
yeah,
there's the distance, there's the forward air, right? And then you get with
right,
punish
yeah,
for it.
yeah,
So it's like I'm definitely with you though. Like it sometimes it just kind of feels like you can't make anything happen. And like don't get me wrong, when you're doing like double jump counter after, and you're like, oh man, I'm getting hit for this. Now I'm setting the vortex. Like this is brutal, right? Like I get it, but sometimes the answer is just a little simple, right? Like oh well shit, now I SD'd, and oh shit, now I double jump countered, and oh shit, like now I'm full hopping a lot, and like you know
yeah,
maybe it is just like you're dropping your execution here is what it looks like more than anything. Like the other game, you look like you're playing a lot cleaner, but not because of the decisions, just like you're hitting the stuff you want to. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I'm not watching any of these full hops or these like double jump counters or like the SDs or anything and be like, ah, oh, damn, he definitely meant to do that and just fucked up. But it's more like, nah, I think he meant to short hop here, you know, like obviously. So and like yeah, Fox is just he hits you hard. Like that's kind of when
I do
I
tend to like fuck up my short hops a lot. I feel like in game more than in training, because if I
yeah
just go into training, I could nail it probably 10 times out of 10. But in game, it's a little bit different.
yeah I mean
But
like you're still new, right? Like you're only a month
right,
in, so I don't expect you to like be perfect with it all. Like even stuff like this, right? Like a normal quote unquote melee player would totally be able to instead of doing like two slow dashes here. Oh, sorry, I messed up. Two like you did one dash there. Here's another dash, and you know just another dash and then an F smash. Like someone else might be totally comfortable just like dash dance, wave dash back, like you know little
yeah,
little adjustments and stuff. And like you're just new, right? That's totally fair. Like stuff like this, right? But like with a little bit more sauce on it. Um, so yeah, I mean, this game really is just you're just floating around at a disadvantage, and like if you notice, really, where a lot of these full hops and stuff are coming from, it usually is the corner, like spots like this, right? Which again, like I was saying earlier, like there's that full hop double jump. Let's see it here. Like here's a double jump off stage. You know, forward aired off the ledge, now you're stuck in the corner, and like you're dead from that, right? Which is just like Marth is weak from there, anyway. Like I said earlier, like Marth is just weak in the corner. I know
yeah,
the meme is like Mewtwo King at the ledge, like he'll gimp you and whatever, but like that was like 15 years ago, and like a lot of people really still have that opinion that Marth is broken in the corner. He's really bad in the corner, but if he gets you, he can kill you, right? It's just like there's too many defensive mechanics in melee now, where it's like it's really hard for Marth to get you that way,
yeah.
reliably at least. But yeah, anyway, so the TLDR, I would not overthink these two matches, right? These are two completely different playstyles that you did here. One is what you, and obviously intentional. This one is like, yeah, a lot of mistakes, right? Um,
Yeah.
but doesn't mean you can't learn from it, right? Like there was a lot of spots where after you get hit, I'm just waiting for you to get hit by like a solid hit. You would do like an instant double jump, right? Like there, right? Like
Yeah.
this is a habit that is super super common for new players. Like everybody goes through this. And like this was like a random example, right? I just kind of had a feeling you were gonna do it, but like I didn't have this one saved. Like let's skip more in the VOD somewhere. Let's see. I mean, you get the idea. I don't have to like do it for examples, like, but there it is, right?
Yeah.
There's another one. This is a habit that is like super common for bad players or new players, excuse me. The same thing really, but if we're being real, but like, why it's so common is because you need to understand how wiggle out works and disadvantage works in Melee, right? Or like, really, it all stems from like learning how to recover. So we got a little bit of time. Are you okay if we go down that rabbit hole a little bit? It's like 15 minutes.
Go for it.
Okay, because this I think is something you should learn to beat fast if you can. It'll make you better than like your friend who's playing Melee with you at the same time if you have one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna show you a picture here, alongside every other picture I have on my phone or computer. But this is a concept I think is really important, especially for Marth players to learn. Marth has a very strong recovery in Melee, right? It's not like he has every angle mix up that Fox has, or he has like the infinite survivability of like a Peach or a Puff player, right? But
Yeah.
his timing mix ups with the resources that he has, being his double jump, his side B, and just ripping it, those three timing mix ups are really strong, right? Because the way you would get a solid hit on Marth edge guarding, like you can't really like go air to air with Marth so much normally because Marth has a forward air, right? It's why like you can't ever just like double jump up and back air Marth at like the top of the stage, right? Like with this nair that this guy got earlier on you, and you like double jumped really high. I don't know if it's here, right? But just that kind of idea. He can't like double jump and up air you because you have a sword coming down, right? So he'll hit you, right? Like here, right? He can't double jump at you if you're just falling because you'll forward air him or you'll down air him or whatever, right? But if you're lower and you're like around here, like assuming this blue Marth is Fox, he totally can actually because he can be invincible from the ledge, right? Which is very different than what happens in like Ultimate, let's say. I mean, low-key it's in Ultimate, it's just not as abusable, right? But the idea is still there, right? So the way Marth gets around this is he actually never wants to double jump up here because he's just going to get backered once. And like, once you get hit without your double jump off stage with Marth, like you have a couple side Bs, sure, but you have your up B really that just kind of shoots you straight up. It's like Mario. Mario is the same in Ultimate and Melee. Like, once you lose your double jump and you have to recover with Mario, it's just GG's, you know? Like, they're so hard. And it's even worse in Melee because you can hold the ledge against him. But point being, Marth gets around this whole idea by either one, recovering super high, which again, you're floaty in the air, so it's not really ideal. But two, if you go low outside of this box, like let's say you're recovering side B, and you go low, because you have your side B and your double jump, and your first side B always just stalls you in the air, you have the ability to wait out their invincibility, right? Or just rip it instantly if they double jump and try and refresh it, like trying to catch you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, that is really important. And a lot of people, when they get hit by like, let's say you get hit by like a nair here, right? They just do their double jump immediately because they want to like get back and attack and just get back and not have to go into like attack, right? Like if you do nothing, you just tech. Ultimate players don't usually have this problem with the double jump because they learn pretty quickly like, oh, you actually die super fast if you get hit without your double jump. So Ultimate players replace this habit with air dodging a lot. But even still, like the better Ultimate players just cover the air dodge and now you're screwed, right? But it's at least there's like that double jump or air dodge mix up in Ultimate. In Melee, it's just double jumping for the most part, right? So it's like you cover the one. So the two ways you get around that, one I kind of just mentioned, is you actually just go low and learn to recover properly. And like I'll send you, I actually just linked it with another student like literally yesterday. This is how you need to learn to sweet spot with Marth, and you can learn to like mix up your timings around hitting these sweet spots. The other thing you need to learn to do, I'm just gonna boot up Uncle Punch real quick, is to wiggle out of stun. So like, let's just say, I'm just gonna give an example. I'm gonna get hit by up smash here every time, right? If I double
Yeah.
jump out, it's just gonna keep happening over and over. But like, what's not great about this? If Fox knows I'm gonna double jump, all he has to do is dash underneath me now, right? He just has to dash underneath me and cover my landing, right?
Yeah.
I can't land with a down air reliably here because like, what if he shields? And I can't like, what if he up tilts instead of shielding, and like actually hits me? What if he like meets me up in the air, kind of like we're talking about, like him beating you out, running there first on the ground? Like think of it vertically. Like what if he just jumps up and hits me, right? I mean, you obviously understand that.
Yeah.
So like, well, I can't double jump. Well, I'll just forward air, and it's like, okay, like if you forward air the second you're at a hit stun, like he can whiff punish you, right? Like he could like dash dance around perfectly and hit you, or you could like running shine, or you could shield grab you, or whatever, right? Shield grab not as reliable against Marth, but the point being, like he can cover that still. So this is an ultimate too, but like you need to wiggle out, and the way you wiggle out of hit stun is you just tap a direction, right?
Okay.
Like, so some people do it like this, where like, watch my gray stick. You could just like go back and forth like a dash dance input, and you'll get out here in that normal falling animation, right? Because if you don't do this, right, this is what'll happen. You have to tech, right?
Okay.
But if I wiggle out, I just go through the normal landing, right?
Okay.
But you don't actually have to do like the actual. It's called wiggle out, but like you can just tap it once the hit stun's over. Wiggle out just kind of guarantees you get it as soon as possible. But like, if I know 36% it's gonna be that long, like I could just tap it once. You just need to do a smash input. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is how better players stop themselves from being like caught in disadvantage state all the time, right? Like, rather than like always committing to one option, like whether it be a double jump or a forward air, Fox's combo is over the second he hits his up smash, and like I have the ability to drift, right? And I can actually like fully defend myself now because I have the ability to choose between either double jump or forward air, right?
Right.
So like, let's take the same situation now at the ledge. I'm gonna restart this just for making this easy. If I double jump here, like I'm obviously gonna die now, right? Because now I have to I'm forced to do the up B. Exact same way I talked about. Like obviously that's a weak back air. If it was a real player, I could probably time it better. But point being, like this gets harder, right? There's the immediate double jump. I'll see if I can even do it faster. Maybe I'm too high from the percent, but you get the idea, right? Like no DI.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Like I have to do the up B, right? But if I just like wiggle out, like now this up smash, there's no risk to it. I could just grab the ledge for one. He's obviously going for the double jump here, but like, let's say he grabs the ledge now instead. Well, because I go low, I can wait it out with the side being the double jump. And if he doesn't, I see that he's going to ledge while I'm down here, I can just rip the up B immediately, right? So this concept is kind of talked about a little bit more in the Pew Pew videos I just linked to you.
Yeah.
It's more like specific, I'd say. But do you get why I'm kind of pointing out this habit? Like why I think never double jumping here is like really tough?
100%. Because like first of all, I didn't even know that you could do that. I didn't even know you could just wiggle out of hit stun. I thought you genuinely had to wait. Or like I guess
Well,
I
you
was
do.
kind of doing my mash and jump, but
Yeah. Like you're wiggling out, like your mashing jump is just like it's easier to mash jump because you can just press the button over and over, but like
right.
wiggling out, like remember I was saying you could do like a dash dance input? That's no different than mashing jump. The difference is though, well, the difference between them is one of them you're not committed to something by wiggling out, right? You're falling all the same anyway.
Right. Um, sorry. Oh my god, I just blanked.
You're good.
Yeah. So I think it was something that I noticed in other players, other Marth players that I watched too, that like they were recovering a lot better than even I was, or like finding ways to get back on stage that I just couldn't. And I think that like really helped me figure out that that was probably the main reason why, because like double jumping is just getting rid of almost all my options to get back on stage safely.
Hmm.
Um,
And also, like, it's
so
just
yeah,
harder to
I
get at a
actually appreciate that.
disadvantage, like, in the middle of the stage, too, right? Like, if you double jump every
Yeah,
time, like, yeah. Um, but especially, like, off stage here, doing the double jump immediately at a hit stun, it's the fastest way to get you kills, or to get you killed in this game. And it's also the
yeah,
fastest way to get kills. Like, Mewtwo King
right,
has made an entire career off just, like, down throwing someone at the ledge and they double jump into his down tilt. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, so it's like, that is, like, you can beat that by just going low, and like sure you could cover it another way. Like Melee's punish game is often much more stronger than its defensive game, but it's not to say you can't make the situation like much harder for them, right? And like the pew video shows, there's different ways to sweet spot the ledge or like land on stage. That's another mix up you have on top of the timing mix up, is like where you sweet spot, because you have all these five and then on top of it the actual stage itself, right? So um there's a lot to Marth's recovery, a lot more than it seems, I think, at first. Which personally, like, that's my gripe with ultimate edge guarding for the most part. Other than the fact that there's air dodging, I don't. I like the variety that air dodging adds to like just in the air game, but for the ledge specifically, I think getting rid of ledge trump is like a big mistake. But that's
yeah,
my opinion. Um, but there's nuance to this. Like, there's like 6 different things Marth can do at a given point with his up B, which I think is cool. And that's just for placing. Like obviously timing adds like another what 12 options he has. So there's like 18 different ways you can recover with Marth at a given point. Um, which is cool. So
no, that's really helpful because I feel like my recovery is very readable at
mhm.
times. Like I feel like maybe it's just a habit I picked up from playing Joker, but I like recover I tend to recover low a lot when there's moments where it's better to just land on stage, take the hit, um, instead of like getting, I don't know, like wave shined off stage and then losing the stock immediately. That I think that will help me learn a little bit of situations where to like save my double jump for.
well, I would say like yeah, like the saving your double jump or using the side B, it's the biggest thing is to like stop them from grabbing the ledge, right? Because like
Yeah.
if they guess correctly when you're gonna rip it, like they can just roll past, like the invincibility will protect them while they roll, and the roll stops you from grabbing the ledge, right?
Mm. Yeah.
So the idea is like this video teaches you like the different spots you can learn to aim your up B. Um, or like one of them does. I don't actually remember exactly what this one is. I think this is just a re-explanation of the first video he made on it. But um, what I'm basically saying is like you need to get in the habit of going low almost all the time with Marth, because that's where you're going to get the most mix-ups for your play, versus like
Yeah.
putting yourself crazy at risk with the double jump stuff you're doing right now. Um, if you like, I'm going to upload this VOD to YouTube today, obviously, but like uh, I did do coaching with this guy earlier yesterday. We talked about this exact same thing. I think I explained it a little better in that video, so I'll link you that video as well if you want.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to watch it if I can.
Sure, yeah, of course, yeah. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I'd work on pretty quickly if I were you.
Okay. Uh, last little question. Is there anything like, I guess, from this that I can take into, I don't know, like Uncle Punch, Jesus, or train, or even just like training mode to like just practice doing to get it, like turn it into muscle memory a little bit.
Well, what I would say, like, people definitely overestimate how much tech skill you actually need for like muscle
Mm.
memory, quote unquote. What is probably the most helpful, and again, like today we're kind of talking about game plans and just like describing like what is Marth like as a character. Like it's day one, right? As far
Right.
as like you and I are concerned. Um, so what I think would be helpful for like Uncle Punch training is just getting a feel for like put if you need like a visual indicator, line Fox up wherever you think is easiest. Like if you think it's easiest to put him in the actual corner itself, and then doing it like this, like however you like to do it. But like get a feel for like what is the absolute max range you can hit the character with from a given point, right?
Okay.
Like how far can I hit him with like a dash attack versus like how far can I hit him with like an actual true dash and grab before I go into run, right? Like, which really that one's actually not so useful because you can just jump cancel grab in melee like at a run, so you get the good grab anyway. But like the point I'm trying to make is like if you do it at the end of a dash, like you could dash back instead of like, do you know what I mean? So how far can I dash with Marth? How far can I get a dash attack with Marth? How far can I get like a wave dash F smash? How far is like a normal wave dash F smash versus like the max length one? How far is like a short up nair? How far is like a short up forward air? Like fast fall or no fast fall? Like obviously you'll get a feel for like the moves you like to use the most. But kind of like I was saying, like a concept some people will say is like the distance between two characters is often equal to the reaction time that's available, right? So like the more distance there is, the more time you have to react to like if Fox is going to run at me and do like a short hop nair, right? Or like Marth's example, like Fox can react to that a lot easier versus like if it's like here and he does it like instantly, you know?
Yeah.
So having a good feel for like the max distance you can do things is good because you can kind of start to do that like in between stuff we were talking about.
Yeah.
So like this is like the Uncle Punch stuff is just get a feel for the spacing a little bit, which I think based on from what I've seen a little bit of like the short hop fairs, you could probably use a little bit of work on. And then obviously you're going to get bored of doing that pretty quickly. You can jump into actual like unranked or slippy or something and try that out against real people and see like why does it feel good? Why does it feel bad? And like I think now you kind of have a little bit of a framework of like kind of figuring out how to play around that, right? Like, oh, like I'm missing these short up forward airs all the time. Well, like, you know, I know he's in. I'll link you the image actually, but I know he's in this little range of like options that are available to me, right? Like maybe I can try this instead, or you know, like that's kind of the idea.
Right.
And really try and keep in mind, like when you're within Marth's range, like if you just rip something, like don't dash dance and then do a dash attack, or don't do like a wave dash and then a dash attack. Like if you just like run and rip it, like it's unreactable, right? So it's don't like overcomplicate that. Like he just knows everything I'm gonna do. It's like well, you could just change what you do, right? And if he's on top of it, then it's like, well, maybe something else is the problem. We could talk about it another time. But like it's okay to experiment, you know? So that's all I'm really getting at here.
Yeah.
And I think you're at a good time to like just try things out, see what you like, see what you don't like, and we'll take it from there. Because I think ultimately, like, I'm not gonna mold you into like the perfect melee player vision that I have in my head. Like, I want you to like get as good as you can playing the way that you want to play it. And like, you know, obviously if you have to make adjustments, sure, but like that's kind of how that should work. Otherwise, you're not even gonna have fun doing it. So, yeah. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts just before we end things up here? Like anything at all, if something's not clear, you don't want something we explained, or like you just have a thought, you want to talk about it for a minute. Like I really don't mind. It's not a big deal.
Uh, Honestly, I don't really have much more to
Okay.
like state or add. I just like to further like how you're saying how to play. I guess like all I can add to that is my play style is a little bit of a I like a bait and punish kind of character.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Like I
Marth's
like
good for
to
that.
make my opponent do with something so I can take advantage if I need to. So
Yeah.
that's
Marth's
how I see that. That's why I like to play Marth a
okay.
lot.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like if you want to bait and punish with Marth, the two easiest ways to like try that more with him, if you'd like, is like doing I was actually talking with someone earlier today about like he's trying to do like a get as good as he can in 6 months like YouTube video right now. So like he was asking like how do I practice like aerials? Like what do I need to learn?
Yeah.
And like I told him like well like drifting forward with Marth, like you leave yourself much more exposed than if you were than drifting back. And like I didn't get into like the because his dash is so good and like you can you know go into this like range stuff that we were talking about today, but like that's kind of the real answer why it's better. So like if you want to do bait and punish, You can either do bait and punish, which is movement straight up by like dash dancing in them and then backing off, or dash dancing and then going through them or whatever, way dashing back. Or you could do it by doing an attack in place and then moving out of the way, or an attack in place and then do an up tilt or a down tilt after, or do an attack in place and then run forward at them and then running away and then grab them, right? Like, you totally can do bait and punish with Marth. It just like, you could also do bait and aggressive with Marth too, which is like, you just have to condition them a certain way, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, Marth is a really good character for that kind of playstyle. I mean, most melee characters can do that anyway, because there's enough freedom of movement and options in the game. But like, obviously, some characters lean on it a little more than others. I think Marth's definitely one of them. But yeah, okay.
Awesome.
I'll end the recording here.